AskReddit by Altera33. What are the most positive things happening in the world right now that people don't think of? After being diagnosed with breast and colon cancer last fall, my mom is, as of today, officially cancer-free. Fantastic news. It's so easy to repopulate the earth of rare plants now through tissue culture. 2 years ago Brazil was freaking out trying to keep their last remaining Spiritus sancti plants to themselves, and today, anyone can have them in their house and there is no market for poachers. A 2-year gap between those extremes is insane. This guy honked at me for not going on green light fast enough, then caught up to me at the next light, rolled down his window and apologized for having a bad day, and then drove off and waved. Also, interest in sustainable housing is growing all the time. Things like earthships and rammed earth houses are gaining ground slowly. Deleted. A malaria vaccine has been developed and is currently undergoing human trials. This could save hundreds of thousands of lives a year, many of them children. I was part of some human trials for this back in 2018. Lots of blood tests and health screenings, multiple vaccine shots, deliberate mosquito bites from buggers that were raised in a special lab to have malaria, then blood tests 10 days in a row, and I didn't get malaria. Pandas are no longer an endangered species, in spite of their own best efforts. Gray whale population has grown 20% in California in the last year. https://mexicannewsdaily.com/news/gray-whale-population-baja-california-sir/ For the first time in decades there have been Iberian lynx sightings in the region of Madrid. 2 sightings in the last week. Huge news as this species is among the most endangered animals in the world. In general, birds and mammals in many parts of Europe show positive population and range trends in recent years. For example, wolves and beavers and eagles are strongly on the rise in Germany again, to a point they are almost common. The former two even cause a lot of controversies because of that. There are exceptions, of course. California's Lake Oroville is now back at being 100% full after being dangerously low from years of drought. As a California local, I'm stoked to have learned this today. For the first time ever, the ambulance company I work for has a good amount of employees, so everyone isn't severely overworked. OMG, I've literally never heard of EMS being fully staffed before, in any area. That's awesome. I finally got prescribed proper pain medication and I no longer want to die most days. The best feeling, the oh wow I can do so much more now, I didn't think it was possible moment is everything. The US has more trees now than it did 100 years asset %20 harvest %20 since %20 the %201,930s. I just saw a video about how it's not as effective as old forest. Since most areas have the same height trees, they don't allow for other vegetation to grow that's beneficial to ecosystems. But still good news. Edit. https://yahoo.be/tp3il72wy4a. Here is the video. He takes you a few steps and you can see the difference. More people than ever before have access to clean drinking water and basic sanitation, which is saving thousands of lives. This is so true. I've been working on a project in rural Ghana where we've actually been pumping treated water directly into people's homes that is totally safe to drink. It's incredible what we're able to do right now. Some garage scientists in Germany have invented energy production plants that create green hydrogen from literally every kind of waste you can imagine. It will revolutionize local and state energy production to a never seen before level. The company is called Uniwastec and is based in Switzerland. Couple that with the progress made on nuclear fusion and human energy production will become OP within our lifetimes. My lazy ass decided I should finally go in for a physical, and it turns out they found a thoracic aortic aneurysm that could have killed me instantly. Having open heart surgery in the next few days to fix it. Good for you. Inspiration or intuition? Either way, good luck with the surgery. We're pulling for you. Honeybees are at an all-time high, and are now considered overpopulated. The whole Save the Bees was never made for honeybees, but instead other species such as the mining bees. Bees can mine now. What will they think up next? My very old cat got her blood work done today and everything seems to be great. Amazing. My senior cat recently was given a clean bill of health as well. Here's to healthy and happy kitties. This is silly, but I got a new job in a field I love after job hunting for ages and working so many jobs I hated, and I'm happier than I've been in a very long time. I feel like my life finally has direction. Teen pregnancy is way down. https://www.gutmarker.org/graphics/heading down open bracket graph closed bracket dash rev.png. It drops off significantly once they reach 20 yo. Crocodiles like pink flowers, and I think we should talk at that more. What pink flowers specifically? Though I got let go on Monday, a ton of people I have worked with or otherwise built great relationships with have reached out in support and offered assistance of all kinds, restoring my faith in humanity. People are becoming more trauma-informed, facing their wounds, and making sure the next generation's burden will be at least a little lighter. Had a friend tell me recently they had a fight with their mother and told their mum to go to therapy. So now their mum is going to therapy and has already started seeing positive progress in her life. It's helping both lineage directions and wonderful to see people healing. We have more knowledge and connectivity at our fingertips than ever before. Our ancestors may have only had a 5th grade education, but we can Google lecture videos of nuclear physics. This needs to be appreciated more. Would have given an award if I had one. Some lakes in California are at 100% capacity due to the heavy rains during the winter-spring. I found love again for the first time since being widowed 4 years ago. I recently bought a small but modest home that I can call my own. And I got a pay rise. I genuinely feel the most at peace I have in 4 years. This is very small, but roughly 5 years ago I had tried to off myself. I was at an awfully low point in life, and had been since I was quite young, was convinced I'd never grow out of it, I would always suffer. While there are still bad days, I can confidently say I'm glad I didn't succeed and I wake up happy to be here. It's small, but finally getting my lifelong depression managed, and beginning to seriously manage my PTSD has changed my life for the better. I think ozone layer is slowly healing itself, as well as my depression. It's been getting better and better since the 90s because back then we listened to the scientists and banned the emissions that were depleting it. This should teach us a lesson and do the same with the climate change. Also congrats for overcoming your depression. HIV+V may soon have a cure, and it turns negative. Case of negative being positive news. I've heard it's not the death sentence it used to be and is fairly manageable with medication these days. I became a doctor yesterday. I don't mean to sound conceited or anything, but I am almost to my goal of 200 pounds, currently at 210, started at 316 2 years ago. Cancer is getting easier and easier to treat and less lethal. Age reversing technology might be around the corner, likely only available for the ultra rich unless society does something. As a young person with health anxiety, I'm really fucking glad, not gonna lie. Now I just have to get out of severe poverty. Then I'm good. I'm an environmental consultant. Human health-based requirements for concentrations of chemicals in the environment have been decreasing over the years. This means that polluters are being held to higher standards and sites that are getting cleaned up are required to be cleaner. I was concerned under the Trump administration we'd see a serious backslide in these requirements, but we are making progress at the state and local levels. This is happening on an international level too. China is eliminating residential coal burning, which is greatly improving air quality in their cities, and India is replacing dung burning with induction cook stoves and LPG stoves. This does wonders for air quality in Delhi as well as household air quality for the poorest Indians. The ozone layer issue, which was a nightmare back in the 90s, is actually going much better than expected. I finally can afford a vet for my dogs. I stopped drinking. My oldest daughter has been through hell with a mother that has chosen drugs over her. She lost a sword fight. Long story, but she had to have facial reconstructive surgery. She got the virus, something awful, and a ton of things that amount to a lot of stress in the last year of high school. Through it all, she graduated at the top of her class and is now studying astrophysics at the University of Austin as a happy and healthy young adult. One proud dad here. Okay, I gotta know the sword fight story. Please. I've escaped generational poverty. Edit. Thank you kind stranger for the award, and thank you kind strangers for your responses. It's been a rough journey as a young 20-year-old. There is a company that has redesigned the process of nuclear fission to make a more stable, clean renewable energy source whose byproduct produces helium and no radioactive isotopes. Basically made a nuclear reactor that doesn't produce radioactive waste and simultaneously has the ability to replenish the global helium supply that was otherwise impossible. Edit. I mistakenly said fission when actually I meant fusion, sorry about that. Still a profound development. https://m.yahoo.com/watch?mark_bdxxwq388ampersand amp feature yahoo.be. I believe they haven't redesigned fission, but made progress with nuclear fusion, and it's very exciting. Progress being made on cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, spectrum disorders, HIV. My uncle got HIV in 1982 and died less than 6 months later. It took months just to figure out what he actually had, and when they did, there was very little they could do anyhow. I'm so sorry for your loss. Both my parents were diagnosed in 1993. At the time it was a death sentence. My mom is still on the trial drugs she was put on in 1994 and is undetectable. My dad is on new drugs but is always undetectable. So crazy what the medical community has done in 30 years. Cannot wait to see where it goes. If only we could bring back the people we lost. There's still good people in this world. Using 3D printing and other newer tech to build schools and other important facilities in Africa and other places alike. We can also now use 3D printing to make cheap, reliable prosthetics and orthotics for amputees. This is especially great for children because they outgrow their prosthetics as they get older. Deleted. We are getting closer with the prototype fusion reactor. More interest is shown in space travel. The power of the sun, in the palm of my hand. This is a personal one. I've got pretty bad anxiety and self-esteem issues. Don't have any friends and never had any kind of relationship with a female, neither intimate or just casual friends. I recently started talking to this girl in my gym that I really like. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but at least now I have a female friend who I can build my experience and confidence when talking to women. I'm winning the small battles. Child mortality is way down. People are voluntarily limiting their fertility by using birth control, so there is no population bomb to speak of. Extreme poverty is much lower than it has been in previous decades. Not to mention the dramatic reduction in famine and disease occurring globally over the past decades. I don't have the genetic cancer gene that killed half my family, including my dad. It's life-changing for me. Edit. Whoa, this blew up. Thank you for all the kind messages and the awards. It was some stressful years, with getting checked every 6 months. Especially the last half year was intense. So you guys are making me cry of happiness. I suppose not dying would be life-changing, yeah. All jokes aside, congrats. Simple acts of kindness from normal people. There are many random people who do good and simple acts all the time. Things that make you laugh, smile and believe in this world as a suitable place for the next generations. The other day I saw a humble gentleman pick up a child who slipped and was crying. He comforted him, cleaned his jacket and continued on his way. This never appears in the news, but it is important to know that they do happen. The motto I live by is be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people. I know this will probably disappear in all the comments, but thank you for posting this. My grandma died a few nights ago and I'm 3,000 miles away from my family. I needed some positivity this morning. Last night was rough. One thing that is probably small scale but has major impact. Company I'm now working for is working to replace all copper and metal pipes in new construction with a more renewable and safe plastic piping. That will not only cut construction costs, but also make it easier, faster to install. Along with giving cleaner water to homes because the plastic doesn't erode, so there's nothing getting into the water. On top of that, they are actually part of a few different clean water projects around the world and are providing their pipes and funds to places around the world to help build water systems in places that don't have them. Deleted. Millions of trees being planted. The US is close to becoming the largest contributor to renewable energy.